Oh, welcome everybody to the Genesis Mindset. So, today's episode, they're lying to you about pDAI. So, the fake inflation bug and the Vietnamese scammer revealed. So, the MakerDAO Bullish stats I'm also going to show you. So, I'm going to try my best to keep this short and sweet. All right, I'm just going to get straight into it. So, yesterday, I received multiple people telling me that I was suspicious of certain individuals within all the spaces that have been spending all day in all the pDAI related spaces, basically convoluting everything, dressing up things as facts, but they're not actually facts. And so it was something that I received information from multiple sources, and it just hit me. It hit me. I saw it in my mind's eyes, and I was like, holy shit, I see it now. I see it now. I see those individuals that one of my particular friends pointed out to me. I see it so clearly, the chaos and the dissent that they're spreading everywhere in relation to this. And this is exactly their game. And this is, I'm not saying it's a cabal, but you could consider it a cabal, but I don't want to use that word. I don't even want to name names. I don't want to name names because that's not my style. But you are being watched. And I am saying this because I won't stand for PulseChain's consciousness to be destroyed by the filth of greed and fear. I won't stand for it. I will not stand for it. So I'm going to start with this tweet because this was yesterday. There's wolves within PulseChain pretending to care. So they deliberately spread FUD under the guise of what's best for the chain. So definitely keep your eye on this kind of sentiment. What's best for the chain? They ignore facts to push narratives that serve their own greed. They want you to panic. They want you to fold because this is their game and they play it well. But I won't have it. I won't have it. If you choose to sell, fine, but do it consciously. Do it with clarity. Don't do it because they scared you into it. So this goes out to the little people. This goes out to the little people who have little pDAI bags that could end up transforming their lives. This goes out to you. Don't let them shake you out. Don't let them bully you. Think for yourself and own your choices. That's all I want to say. I've already received multiple messages from people who've basically fudded themselves out. So this goes out to those types of people and to the little men, because this always happens in all markets. And so these people that I keep seeing in all the spaces, without exception, always talking over everybody, always creating chaos, always saying, we're giving facts. We're giving facts. I can show you the facts, but they're always neglecting 50% of the other facts. They, for example, talk about pDAI having an inflation bug. The amount of times that I hear this bullshit that it's an inflation bug, it is literally the MakerDAO contract working as it should. So if you're going to say that it's an inflation bug, then you should also say that Hex, executing the Hex contract, is an inflation bug. Executing an LP contract is an inflation bug. It is bullshit. It is misinformation, and it's using the wrong kind of language, and I won't stand for it. And I know we've had all this stuff with Richard putting out the tweet, but I also saw where that information actually came from, who sent that information to Richard, and they belong to part of the people that I suspect of being in this group that are deliberately trying to FUD things down. So, you know, all this thing, I'm not even going to bother going through this guy. So basically, let's put this into context. PulseChain has been the most decentralized blockchain on the planet, has been finessed by a Vietnamese kid who's too stupid that he's in some Vietnamese community group and he's been doxxed. And I mean, look how fast his MetaMask is going, bro. Has your MetaMask ever worked this fast? What is this on 2x? His mouse is moving at normal speed, but everything on MetaMask is moving at 2x. It's a bunch of bullshit. That's what I believe. That's what I believe. Again, I've put my foot, whatever the expression is, my brain's completely effed up. Whatever the expression is, I've put my foot in the sand and I'm holding the line. It's $0 or $1 for me. Simple as that. So, Somi, I wish you could join. You can most certainly join, Somi. I would love to discuss this with you. I sent out a little thing to you before, but anyway, so what's this guy's name? So this guy, he's Basically, this is all but basically, essentially, what this is all about is that PulseChain, the most decentralized blockchain on the planet, has been finessed by one guy, one Vietnamese 24-year-old kid who was stupid enough to leave paper trails everywhere that they even know his identity. So his identity is actually called Ket Loa Dot Si Tong Min, which is super smart scammer translated to English. He's a really, really, really super smart scammer. So we know this. We know this for a fact. No, that's not actually the name. That was just a lol. So breaking, Martin, he's exposed it. Wow, Martin, where did you get this key information from the pDAI explode? You know, this guy who's secretly done this for 1.5 years. He's like the smartest guy that's finessed Richard Hart and the entire fucking blockchain for the last 1.5 years. And breaking, we've just discovered his identity. Breaking. They've just discovered him, and there's these videos of him showing everything off and showing off to the world. Wow, that's so breaking. I was contacted by someone who has shared the pDAI exploiter's identity, as well as multiple videos and photos of him bragging about his exploit. What a genius scammer. He was bragging about his exploit. This guy's so smart. He's leaving no paper trails to be discovered of scamming like hundreds of thousands of people on the planet. Are you fucking serious? Pardon my French, but are you fucking serious? And these people, this team of people, are delivering and feeding this information to Richard Hart. That's what I'm saying. That's my speculation. This is my faith. That's what my heart tells me. And I've seen the evidence. I've seen the evidence in my tweets. I saw the evidence, what's best for the chain. I saw the evidence in other tweets, and those tweets were deleted. So I'm watching you, brah. I'm watching you, brah. I know who you are, my brah. I'm watching you. I'm not going to name names. People can find out these things for themselves, but they are out there, and I'm not having it. I won't have this blockchain that we've created be polluted by the consciousness of greed. I will not have it. I won't stand for it. So if I'm delusional, I don't give a shit. I'd rather be delusional than be greedy like everybody who's telling you what everybody's telling you to do what you're going to do. I just got blocked by KDP. Why did she block me? Because I called her out for saying, this is the freedom of speech chain, is it not? We sacrifice for freedom of speech and freedom of movement, but then we're going to block everybody who talks about pDAI and presents an alternative case. What? How is that freedom of speech? That goes against everything about freedom of speech. So even if we are delusional, even if we are over faithful, so goddamn what? Let us be. We can say what the hell we want on the timeline. It's everybody's choice and everybody's decision to do what they want with their money. To be arrogant enough to think that just because I'm talking about it, I'm going to influence somebody's decision to buy because that person's so pathetic that they can't make their own decision. I talk about meditation every single day for the last 1.5 years. One person, one person out of the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people that have watched my channel and consumed my content on YouTube and X, one person has started meditation. Just one. So to think arrogantly that we can somehow influence people's decisions, it's just that arrogance, the depth of that arrogance to think that that person is so pathetic that they can't make their own decision. That person consciously made their own decision, and I just think it's a joke to stifle freedom of speech. Why has it become blasphemy to talk about pDAI? This has been the best narrative. It still is the best narrative, and it still is right now capturing the most eyeballs everywhere, all over PulseChain. So I don't care. I'm defiantly going down with this. So I'm watching. So we've discovered breaking news. Dawson May 22, 1996. You know, this 20-year-old kid, he's scammed all of PulseChain. He's finessed all of PulseChain, guys. We're screwed. This dude, he's got his face out here like he's bragging about it. He's got $8 million. Like, you know, oh, what a really clever scammer, right? Wink, wink. Give me an effing break. So this inflation bug is a bunch of crap as well that they keep spreading around in every single one of these Twitter spaces. It's an absolute... I'm getting so emotional. I'm sorry, because I'm really wound up that people have been deceived and lied to. When I heard about this group, and it just clicked. It just clicked in my mind like a flash of light, and I just saw it was like, oh, those sons of bitches, those greedy sons of bitches, this is what they do. This is how they do it. They spread fear so that they can get lower prices so that they can buy. This is still a phenomenal narrative. And then they'll move liquidity somewhere else. They can just dominate the liquidity across the chain. And do you know what? I'm not going to go down that avenue, but my brain is like spazzed out because just the complete lack of sleep. But Okay, so we'll leave it at that because I'm getting too worked up on that. So now let's have a look at this. So this is from devs that I trust, not these fake devs that proclaim to be devs. And I'll show you facts. I shouldn't say this because I apologize to him, but I'm very suspicious of you, Habibi. Not you, Somi, but there's a guy called Habibi who's in all the spaces, and he's the kind of person that I hear talking like this. For example, today he said Maria is whatever he was saying about Maria and Atropa. They can infinitely mint Atropa, like spreading this fear about Atropa. You cannot infinitely mint Atropa. You can infinitely mint Treasury Bill. I've made several videos about that. I've even presented it as a bullish case, but they're trying to spread it as, oh, this is a fact. You know, I'm clever. I'm showing you the fact. So they're just gaslighting everybody into showing these facts based on their perspective. So Habibi, if you are listening to this and you are genuinely not, again, I sincerely apologize to you, but it's that kind of sentiment that I'm very, very suspicious of. I will tell you that right now. If it's not you, then again, I apologize. I'm wrong, no problem. But it's that kind of speech that I've been hearing in the Twitter spaces that makes me very, very suspicious. So who do I trust? I trust my XUSD team. This is what the XUSD team has ascertained for themselves by doing their own blockchain analysis on what's going on with the minting, with the supposed inflation bug. And so we've been trying to decide whether or not we're going to keep pDAI and Atropa tokens as LP for the vaults with XUSD, because obviously if they're infinitely mintable, then it's a massive risk. So this is the research that they did. So of course, everyone is allowed to have their own opinion, and even more so, they have to do their own research. However, our investigation certainly aligned with what some of the more known PulseChain faces found out about the whole situation. The wallets associated with minting and dumping pDAI have done a bunch of moves within the Maker protocol. All the wallets Richard Hart posted in his spreadsheet connect to each other via internal Maker Vault moves. Prior to the minting and bridging, the 5996 wallet that 99 Capital pointed out in his X tweet has loaded the Maker Vault with hundreds of millions of pDAI. Just one of many internal Maker transactions that were done. And so here's the Maker documentation that explains what these functions do. The minting from a Maker Vault does not equate to what most people consider regular minting, aka inflation of supply. So I'll read that again. The minting from a Maker Vault, which is what is happening right now, does not, which means it is not, which means it is not infinitely mintable, does not equate to what most people consider regular minting, aka inflation of supply, aka it is not infinitely minting. It is exiting your vault position. That's how the VAT works within Maker. Those positions can get liquidated if the debt compared to what you put as collateral becomes too big. Now, while what was done certainly resulted in funds being drained from the chain and prices tanking, the collateral for it that was placed in the pDAI token sits in the Maker Vault on PulseChain, and also it is not counted into TVL of the chain. It will either get liquidated or paid back. Liquidation would immediately burn the pDAI debt, causing an instant huge arbitrage chunk and pump in pDAI. If it gets paid back and released from the vault, it will certainly increase funds and TVL of the chain. So let's read that again. That's very important to understand because this is part of what we're hoping for. While what was done certainly resulted in funds being drained from the chain and prices tanking, so this is not what we're questioning. The collateral for it that was placed in the pDAI tokens. So in other words, you have to place the collateral to take out the token. So that collateral has been placed in the vaults. The collateral for it was placed in pDAI token, sits in the Maker Vault on PulseChain, and also it's not counted in TVL of the chain. So it looks like the chain's getting drained, but in actuality, the chain is removing liquidity, but then it's hidden inside of the vault because the blockchain is not reading the vault as TVL. It will either get liquidated or paid back. Liquidation would immediately burn the pDAI debt, causing an instant huge arbitrage chunk and pump in pDAI. If it gets paid back and released from the vault, it will certainly increase funds and TVL of the chain. And gee, I wonder if our absolute super genius Dawson Un, who has finessed the entire blockchain, I wonder if he knew about this. I mean, he's so clever, right? But you're telling me he didn't know about this and you're telling me he decided to sell on a local low? Yes, of course. Now, while we don't rely on speculations, this is just pure Maker protocol technology. Again, This is just pure Maker protocol technology. So if we're going to equate this to infinite minting bug, then we're going to also have to say that Hex is currently infinitely minting bug. If interacting with the protocol equals infinite minting, then Hex is also infinitely minting and infinitely inflating. So in other words, I don't believe Hex is doing that, and I don't believe pDAI is doing that. Even if the user put his own money into the Maker Vault without any underlying reason, they have the right to do whatever they want with their money, just like all of us. It does not mean that pDAI is hacked or exploitable. And we have decided to keep the pDAI and Atropa pairs for both staking and trading rewards. However, until the situation stabilizes, it will receive reduced rewards for the time being. Take this explanation not as financial advice. It is not. It's just a pure mathematical blockchain data analysis. So again, split right down the middle. And I'm putting my foot in the sand and I'm saying, you know what? I'm ignoring the other side. I'm putting my foot in the sand and I'm going with belief. I'm going with all the things that have led me here, all the faith that has taken me to this situation. I'm going with that. Richard Hart can get things wrong. I know people aren't going to like that. Maybe he's working so hard and he's been getting fed this information and he's putting it out on Twitter and saying he's not even looking. I mean, am I looking at everything? Maybe that's what he's doing. I have no idea. I'm not even going to bother speculating on that, but it's possible that he's wrong. For me, God is not wrong, and God has led me here, and God has not led me astray. That's what I believe. Universe, God, Buddha, Allah, whatever the hell you want to call it, don't really care. So it's like a test between faith and an individual human. I know what I'm choosing. So the Maker stats. This continues to drop. So this was yesterday 800. So 2 days ago it was 903 million. Yesterday it was 880-ish or something like this. Today it's 846 million. So again, we need to see this get down to zero. So it looks like it's going to take a lot longer than we expected, but this is just the number that I'm going to keep watching. This joy. Nothing is going to sway my perspective until we get to this, until this number plays out. Because that's where this starts to happen. So, by the way, this is the wallet. If anyone wants to do the wallet analysis, I'm wrecked, man. And like looking at these numbers and shit, looking at the block explorer, like it's not fun. Some people find it fun. It's not fun. It's a headache. And when my brain is like this fried, it's not fun. But if you want to look at this guy, if you want to look at Kelwa Do Se Tong Min. Sorry. That's not his name. It's super smart scam. What was his name? Do Sonan. If you want to look at Do Sonan, if you want to have a look at his wallet, Mr. Do Sonan, you can have a look here. I've also put this video here. Again, this is going to be a short one, and I don't want to cover everything, but my boy HODLnomics made a great video. I'll put the link in the description. I would recommend watching that because it covers all of the context that would have led up to this particular video. I don't want to go through all the context. So you can have a look at that. What was this one? This is just something that I wanted to just very quickly share because I don't know what wallet this is. It's a PulseChain wallet, Trump official. VIP. It's not actually, it's not the Donald Trump world, whatever it is, Trump wallet. It's a PulseChain wallet. But I just wanted to share that whoever this Trump official wallet is purchased 13 or nearly 14 million pDAI with most and 21.2 million pDAI with Ink yesterday. So this happened yesterday. Yes, correct. Yesterday. So around about 24, more than 24 hours. So probably like 30 odd hours or so. So why did I want to show that? Well, there's whales that still believe. So yeah, I'm choosing the side of belief. So I want to end on this quote because in the end, guys, girls, everyone gets so worked up about. I'm about to say everyone's getting so worked up about money, but I'm getting worked up. I get worked up about the injustice. I get worked up about the deceit. That's what works me up. The money, again, I'm so calm. Like I'm calm. Like when I saw this thing with Richard, I was like, this is so weird. I feel so extremely calm. Maybe it's because I was just outside. I did like a 25-kilometer hike, absolutely wrecked. Read like 36 degrees today in Brisbane. Like what the hell? It's the middle of March. 36 degrees, 25-kilometer hike. I wasn't anticipating this. One of the boys, he went down 2 kilometers from from the finish line, I shouldn't laugh, but 2 kilometers from the finish line, he got done with heat stroke. So I was like, oh, bro, we were so close. So I forgot where I was going with that. I was super calm. So I get worked up at people being lied to. I get worked up at the greed and the injustice. That's what pisses me off more than anything. That's where I lose my center a lot. And also when I'm feeling the hurt of the world, that's like my whole consciousness. My clarity just gets so fogged up with like the cries of the world, you could say. So the money. Alexander the Great, the goat, the Macedonian goat, he was the first human being on the planet to conquer the world, the known world. So the actual entire world. And he said, when he died at the age of 33, bury my body and don't build any monument. Keep my hands out so that people know the one who won the world had nothing in hand when he died. So we come into this world empty-handed and we leave this world empty-handed. So all of this noise between now and then, all of this stuff, all of these magic internet fake digital numbers, our internet money is better than your internet money. It's all just Ponzi. You come in empty-handed, you'll die empty-handed. We live up to this world. We try up to 40, 50. It's all about gain. And I got to gain and I got to gain. Then after 40 or 50, it's always the same. Life is the same. Then life becomes about loss. The people around you start passing away. Your family members start disappearing. Your husband or your wife passes away. You're left alone to die by yourself. This is the reality of humans, suffering. So should we really be so harsh with each other and try to take advantage of each other and get so angry and silence each other about money? People's rights should be protected on this blockchain. Freedom of speech, freedom of movement. So I think the concerted effort against it, look, it's difficult. Do you know what makes it difficult? Because I believe those people are doing what they believe is right. So for example, T-Bird. Like T-Bird is an awesome dude. I love T-Bird. And I believe he is genuinely trying to protect the blockchain. I also believe Katie's trying to do that. But nevertheless, people can still make their own decisions. We're all adults here. We all sacrifice for freedom of speech, freedom of movement. So we shouldn't be trying to silence people. We should do what we can to try and put our word out there to maybe sway people's perspective, to present my case so that they can make that decision. But to try and silence people and like treat it as blasphemy, it's absurd to me. It's absurd. It feels wrong. It feels so wrong. It feels like PulseChain is going right down the wrong avenue as a blockchain. As the consciousness of the blockchain is like so trash at the moment. It's so garbage. Right, I'm going to go through these comments. I'm going to keep it short. What's going on, Char? I see a lot of chat about the Maker hat. Oh, man, Maker hat. I don't even know what that is, bro. I'm so sorry. Do we know it's Richard Hart for sure? And that's another thing, man. There's another thing there where it's like, I seen housing doing some tweets about, Richard Hart could just, if it was Richard Hart, he could just call this contract and basically cancel what's happening. And man, like, it's such a headache trying to keep up with all the information. So sink or swim, and I'm swimming, baby. I'm swimming across the flat earth, and I'm going to swim to the edge of the flat earth, to the ice wall. I'm going to climb the ice wall, and then I'm going to touch the moon with my hand when it rotates around. I'm just going to be like, yes, there's the moon, and give the moon a high five, and he'll be like, what's up, old Greg? It seems fake to me as well, Money Mars. It seems fake to me as well, bro. Everything seems so fake. What's going on, AOKG? Zaki Booze, what's going on, brother? Fun times indeed. Don't name names. Feed me the alpha. Yes, I'm not going to name names because at the end as well, I don't want those people to be like cast out, but I want them to know. You're being watched. You're being watched. And people know what you're doing and they don't appreciate it. And the way that you're trying to manipulate the chain for your benefit, for your greed, it's not right. It's not right. I'm not ever going to name you, but you know it's not right deep in your heart. You know it's a disgusting thing to be taking advantage of people. Why? Why do we have to do this? Just because the world is like that. Why do I have to be like that? Why? Why do we have to keep doing this? When's it going to end? When is the insanity going to end? All day today, on this 5-kilometer walk, 25-kilometer walk, I was having a discussion with someone, not all day, but we're having a discussion, politics, China, USA, Australia, all the different perspectives. And I admired his intelligence, and he was talking a lot about, yep, what Trump is doing is really good and putting America first, and these are our morals and their morals are wrong, and the Chinese people don't like this. It's like, when is this going to end? When is it actually going to end? When are we actually going to wake up and see that we're all confined inside of I shouldn't. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We're all confined within an ice wall. No, come on. We're all spinning. We're all spinning. We're all on a globe. Oh, whatever it is, man. Even that's so divisive, and it causes. Like, I lose followers for saying like the Earth is round. Like, this is how humans are. Like, when is it going to end? We're all just one. We're all just one. Like, when's it going to end? And why? Just because the world is like that, just because the world is structured where it's like China versus America and us versus them, it doesn't mean we have to do it on PulseChain here. It doesn't mean that we have to fight against each other. Why can't we just help each other to win together? There's plenty of opportunity for that on PulseChain. For me, pDAI presented that opportunity, well, presents that opportunity. Atropa presents that opportunity. I'm not giving up on it. I refuse to give up on it because they literally present that opportunity. A truly decentralized financial system where everybody wins, yes, please, or PvP, the same crap as everything else where, oh, yeah, look at this thing. It's going to pump up to here and, oh, yay. And then the whales dump it on everybody while telling you it's a great time to buy. No, thanks. I get really heated. It comes from the fire in my belly. Oh, yes, please, warrior poet. Like that, baby dolls. Sommy's in my vision, so baby dolls. Sommy's in everybody's consciousness. What's going on for Tina? So much is going on. So you're doing awesome, sir. pDAI Army has succeeded against Richard's tests. Yeah, is this a test? This is the thing. So what's going on, Puffy? It is. Well, it's like a debt system. It's like a collateral system. So even in like you're basically, they all kind of work the same. So if you go to liquid loans, it will work the same, where you're putting up your PulseChain to borrow against it. It's kind of that principle with what's going on here with Maker. So again, all I'm doing is I'm just watching this number. It continues to trend down. It continues to trend down, just as 99 Capital said. It also had a massive event, just like 99 Capital said it would. He said there's going to be lots of noise. This is exactly what's happening, just like 99 Capital is saying. So dumping is bad. They can just mint and hold too. They can. But again, there's still no one has been able to conclusively present me evidence that it's being bridged out and that it's not coming back in. Nobody's been able to present that. I can show you this wallet here that's bought 19 million. So it's getting dumped from over there, but then it's getting bought up from over here. Can we conclusively say that this is not connected? We cannot. So how can we conclusively say that them selling it is certainly a malicious act? We can't conclusively say. And again, I'm maintaining the perspective of faith because I'm choosing to believe in the peg, and I'm just sticking with that. I keep, I'm trying to like balance the perspective now, and to be perfectly honest, it's actually driving me crazy. Trying to consume all the information and be neutral, and just, it's too hard because the contradiction in my mind between the two perspectives is too much. The cognitive dissonance is too much. So it's like I'm just picking a side, and I'm picking where my heart has led me, and I'm staying with it, and I'm owning that decision. So I bought 1 million. So from that stizzy, there's a way that you could argue for that. There's a way that you could argue against that. That's what I'm trying to say. So all I'm trying to do is just do little updates. I don't want to go into like all the nitty gritty stuff because they'll do it for like 16 hours throughout the whole day in Twitter Spaces. It's wild, bro. It's insane. It's like, whoa, I couldn't believe it. I was so worked up. I made a fool of myself. I was like, I get really defensive of like, yeah, I thought it was lies, and it just coexistence, Stephen, caused chaos. I bought 1 million pDAI last night. Now I have a bag. Sommy is trying to save as many as he can. Exactly. There we go. So Sommy, we're getting carried on Sommy's back. I thought it was fun until Maria voiced his side of the story and then Richard dropping question mark symbols on every tweet. I got so confused. I said, screw Peter, I'm just going to buy Teddy and the Richard Hart 4 cause. Yeah, look, that's probably not an unwise decision, to be perfectly honest, because I know Maria said he's going to save Teddy. He's going to do whatever he can to save Teddy. And even that, like in all those spaces, they all are pointing fingers at Maria. Maria hasn't done anything wrong. Can anyone point to where Maria has done anything wrong? What? He live streamed himself selling, like he showed you and told you what he was going to do based on the information he has, and that makes him a bad person. What world am I living in? How's that? What is there something wrong with my brain? Is there something wrong with my brain? Can somebody tell me? I mean, right now there's something wrong with my brain because I'm operating on like minimal sleep and I'm just fried, but that doesn't seem right. If you're literally saying this is what's happening, I believe this is what's happening, and I'm going to start selling, and I go on stream and show you, and then on stream he's starting to assess the situation and he's seeing, oh, hang on a minute, the supply is staying like this, and this is what's happening with the supply, and then he goes off to a sauna. He's chilled, and he hasn't dumped since then. He's assessed it. Can somebody tell me where the scam is? Am I biased? Can somebody tell me? Am I being biased? I don't want to be biased on that, but that doesn't seem like a malicious act to me. They are trying to burn down the forest. Exactly, Fatina. Whoa, so many comments, so many people. Holy smokes. Boy. Whoa, so many. Whoa. Okay. I mean, all right, I'll go through these comments. If anyone wants to jump up here, if anyone wants to jump up here and have a yarn as well, I mean, I didn't want to stay up too late. But so what? Let's have a yarn. Can I share this somehow? Let me have a look. Stop share. Invite. Let's go. Copy. I'm going to copy this into the stream. So if anyone wants to jump up, have a yarn. I won't stick around for too long. I gotta sleep. I gotta sleep so bad. Sunday's my sleeping day. my brain gets like this. It's just, I keep put my fluffy slippers on. I listen to so much Somi. I've got all these little sayings in my head. Oh, all right, here we go. And I'll put this even on black. Here we go. We'll go back to Alexander the Goat. Alexander the Goat. Not Alexander the Great. Alexander the Goat, the Macedonian. All right. People are bullish. Good. I mean, good on you guys. I mean, if this turns in your favor, like this will transform your life. So the psyops this week are unreal. Stay level-headed, everyone. Let's go, fam. G'day, Mr. Steven and crew. Time to ignore the fart. Second boost. No, not pissed off, Steven. No, I have to stay calm, but yeah, when I don't sleep, I don't have a lot of control. I've seen real documentaries on hackers. They don't expose themselves. Exactly, Hex is king. Exactly. Like, in what reality, in what world is a hacker who literally has executed a 1.5 year carefully considered hack? In what reality have they done this thing? What did they do? Like, the ludicrousness of it is just too much. It's just too much for me to even like continue to comment on. It's just not. It's so not. And then boast about it on a thing where all the boys, yeah, I got this intel from some Vietnamese trade channel from Sandong Or. Like, I'm sorry, but that stinks. That stinks of lies to me. And you know what? If it's true, shame on me. Shame on me. And I apologize in advance, but it stinks. It stinks in every sense of the word. Especially because when I saw the source of where that came from, I was like, nah, because I caught that dude red-handed. I caught him red-handed lying on my tweets. I caught him red-handed. He knew that I knew that he was one of the people I was talking about. He knew it. No way I'm parting with my DAI lottery ticket. Remains in the drawer. The crypto world has shown crazier things in this. Hey, beautiful, Hexist. Beautiful. Exactly. So, pDAI $2. Maria is a legend. So, I'm not saying. Okay, let me just. I won't go through all these. let's not be nasty here. Let's not be nasty to KDP. I do believe she is doing the best that she can. So Ram, hey, Steve. I'm gonna put my sound on. What's going on, sir?
What's happening? I am telling you, I am living for your stream right now, dude. Like this, I'm at the bowling alley with my son, and I had to step aside. Everything you're saying to me resonates so strongly. I mean, that's always been the case, Steve. It's always been the case with me, and like hearing you, I have so many thoughts, and I'm not a streamer. I don't speak publicly normally, and it's something I had to do. It's I just see so many things, and it's like so many people. I see things from so many sides. Normally in this, it's binarily, right? Like I see it from both sides. And on the one hand, I can't help but shake the idea that Richard Hart is a Richard Hart maxi, right? He likes his products. He likes his products, and pDAI isn't originally his product. Now, of course, everybody said, oh, well, it became his product when it came to PulseChain. But then additionally, I look at his tweets and these recent FUD, and it's like, this isn't the Richard Hart we know. And maybe time changes a man. Maybe he isn't the Richard Hart we know, right? But this is not the Celsius call out. This isn't sell the garbage, get out of this. This is a lot of question marks and, oh, rumored this and rumored that. And man, should we sell pDAI? Question mark. And I think of the ethos that I kind of feel about RH. When I think about RH myself, I think he idolizes and speaks often about Satoshi. And I've said during years back, I said, when we had our long radio silence with RH, I said, the man has a right to a private life. He may never come back and stream again. And it actually surprised me when he took back to X. He came back to Twitter and started posting more. I was kind of surprised because I thought he would just kind of go off in the ether and that would be it. So my point is here, like, he doesn't want to be seen, I feel, this is just my personal opinion. He doesn't want to be seen as the creator of all this. He doesn't want to be seen as the mastermind of all this. Think about the lawsuit he just went through and the millions of dollars he spent because he was accused of orchestrating things, of being in control of things. He doesn't want that. I have seen, and I hope this resonates with some other viewers, I have seen Richard Hart take a lot of joy in creating something or being part of something that other people can go. He wants the community to use the chain. He wants the community to succeed. And the lower this token goes, the more epic the hockey stick up. Just think about that. I know I'm saying price goes down is bullish for price goes up, but you have to kind of think about that. We had 80x to $1, right? Well, now we're pushing in some cases, depending on your entry, we're approaching 1000x to $1, 400x to $1. That's just more bragging rights. He can't lose here in my mind. If maybe he lost control of it, maybe it's somebody from his team that was working on it. But why do all this work on PMaker? Why do all this stuff for years before the chain was even live? Why do all of this just to now, try and sell out the bottom? There's just too many questions. And I think what I come back to is what I put in comments earlier before you did the invite is we have to go with our heart. We have to follow. And for each person, that's going to be a different choice. And that's fine. For me, I will admit, I have, I got shook. I was shook and I de-risked pDAI a good bit, but I will never sell all my pDAI. And I may come back into pDAI. These prices are lower than where I sold. There's an opportunity here. So when I see that, I just think, many years ago, I decided love over fear was the way I was going to move. And it really gets my goat when somebody tries to scare me. What do you have? How does it benefit you to scare me? I won't be scared. So I'm going to move on and be comfortable with my decision. I've packed my bags. I've made my bed. It's time to lay in it. This goes how it goes. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe we're wrong and it goes to zero. Maybe it's not this cycle. Maybe we won't hold for another 4 years. I don't know. And because I don't know, I think everybody needs to be in a position they're comfortable with. If your stomach's in knots, if you're staying up late at night, maybe you've got too much risk on the table. Maybe touch some grass, de-risk some. But for me, I will always hold a pDAI bag because I won't be shook by what somebody else has to gain from my fear. Love over fear. I got to move in love. That's all I wanted to say.
I love that. I love that, Steve. Oh, is there any way that you can, because I'm getting like back. I can hear my voice.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Here, let me try it. See if I can. There you go. Try that.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Oh, no. I can still hear it.
What about now?
Testing. I can still hear it, but it's...
Let me try Bluetooth. Maybe that'll do what we want it to do.
Are you still there?
Oh, how about now?
Yeah. Oh, you still there?
I'm here.
Beautiful. Yeah, I can still hear my voice in the back, but yeah.
I'll just mute it while you speak.
Okay, yeah, perfect. I forgot what I was gonna say now. I think I just wanted to say like, oh, Buddy's here as well. I just wanted to say that again, I mean, you're resonating with what I'm saying. I'm resonating with what you're saying as well. And I also maintain the thesis of if this takes 4 years, then so be it. So be it. We've made our decision, and that's that. That's that. And I was never an overnight peg person. I don't like that idea. I don't like the idea of I like the idea of it being sustainable. It just makes more sense to me. So even if it's 4 years, I'm okay with that. If the price chart continues to work, I mean, it's very, very difficult to look at this information and not take it on board. It's like, well, Richard Hart himself has done this, but like you said, there's all these question marks, and there's even what was his name? ID Block said a few months ago, he even questioned whether this was Richard Hart after he did like a pDAI post or something, and then the pDAI bros were like, "You're coping, of course it's him." And I'll be honest, like it doesn't seem like Richard Hart either, the Twitter. So there's also that needs to be considered. So sorry, I just want to say hello to Bud as well. What's going on, Bud? Nice to see you in here.
Hey Steve, how are you doing today?
Oh, really good. Yeah, really, really good. How are you?
Doing well. Doing well. It's been a pretty exciting couple days, huh?
Yeah, it's been wild. It's been I'm just going through this comment section. It's just there's so much energy around all of this. It's wild. How are you feeling about everything, Bud?
I think you just have to see the forest for the trees right now. There's a lot of stuff that's happening, and I think people discount the significance of the ruling that we had from Judge Amon. The fact that in that ruling, she declared that PulseChain does not lie under the purview of the SEC. That's some of the biggest financial news that I've ever heard, right? All of these things are not securities. And now you have what is going to be a stable coin that doesn't fall under the purview of the United States government. That is a monster. If I was Richard and Maria, I would distance myself from this as fast as I could so I didn't get killed. Right? This gives emerging markets and emerging countries the ability to stabilize value and not have funds frozen. When you look at what happened in Russia, Ukraine, and they froze $300 billion of Russian assets, that's when the movement really kicked off for people wanting to get out of the SWIFT system because of the counterparty risk. You now have something that can stabilize your value outside of somebody being able to sanction you. So if I had anything to do with it, I would distance myself, right? I would act crazy. I would make erratic tweets. If I was Maria, I would go batshit crazy, just like we've seen in some of the tweets. I mean, it's nonsensical when you read it, right? But I wouldn't want anything to do with any of that. So that's how people end up in ditches, man. Like, this is the biggest thing. And people are saying it, but they're not really grasping the magnitude of what's happened. And, you know, I said in a previous interview with you, Stephen, the former head of the World Bank, that Eric Bethel, said the future of finance is sufficiently decentralized blockchains. Right? And what do we have? There's not a chain out there. Like, Solana's been rolled back. That was proven during FTX. They rolled back those transactions so Alameda Capital could get squared up, right? I have questions about what happened with the founder of Telegram and Tron. You know, they captured him in France, and then all of a sudden there starts to be changes to the Ton blockchain. What happened? Did you allow for implementation into the chain so people can freeze funds? Right? And when you have a blockchain, the only viable blockchain that's ever been created is Ethereum. And we are a fork of Ethereum, right? But we're sufficiently decentralized. So let's look at this with context, man. This is the future of finance. You think this isn't going to get rowdy? This is going to be nuts. And, you know, people wonder what to do. I've been providing liquidity. The volatility on some of my pairs and the volume, man, I'm getting it every day. If you believe in this, stand up, stand on your 2 feet, start providing liquidity on V2. If you're speaking this, live your truth. I mean, I'm all across the Atropa ecosystem providing liquidity. So all this volatility is fantastic for me. And I'm not leaving, man. I'm here till I die or the chain dies. Pick one, right?
Yep.
I am not leaving. So there comes a moment in time where you have to decide what you believe in. I've chosen my path. Stephen, you've obviously chosen yours. You've been very verbal about this, and I really appreciate that people are taking a stand here, right? If you want to be the future, be a part of it. Get into V2, even with a minimal amount. I mean, I saw the volatility or the volume index on one of the pairs I'm in, you know, like when pDAI was, when it was like 2 or 3 cents, the volume was only like 46,000. Well, we have had like a 90, excuse me, a 90%, 95, 99% collapse. The volume's 247,000. Now, you say, well, 47 to 247, what is that? Well, that's only like a 6x. So, but it's a matter of token count. So I got 200, we've had a 99% drawdown, and all I care about is token count. So I went from not getting much to getting a massive amount of tokens. Because if you're looking at the volume in that pair with the prices down, right, that chart looks exponential. And all I care about is moving it out of the hands of the weak and into my hands, because I'm here, baby. I'm stabilizing it, right? So this is the things that everybody can do. If you're here and you want to stand on business, you want to believe in this, be a part of it, right? Get into V2, provide liquidity.
And Bud, from your perspective, there's 2 things that I hear when you talk. The one is, let's look at the chart. I'm not worried yet. Is pDAI where we want it to be? No, probably not. I think we'd all prefer a higher price, especially those of us who have been holding for some time. But look at the chart. pDAI has survived 99% down. This is, you know, we're still in an uptrend, right? Like we're not seeing anything from that perspective. And I don't think enough people talk about that, right? Again, I could be proven wrong. We could see way more dips. Okay, so be it. That's how it's going to be. But to your previous point, you know, there's even more, you know, the glaring example of governmental control conspiracy, right, is DAI creator, ETH DAI creator. You know, if you look at that guy's history, he wound up dead in 8 inches of water or something. You know, a day after he posted some things that looked an awful lot like what Maria was posting. You know, said he was being followed and stalked and people were going to, you know, plant things on it. And the guy's dead, right? And we talked about it then, years back. We talked about, wow, that's odd. That's strange. And I think we've lost track of the bigger picture in that, yes, this has the potential to mint millionaires. Yes, absolutely. But the bigger picture of this is, if we just for a moment, I know I haven't thought about it for a while. We go back to that flywheel example that we talked about, where pDAI can become a flywheel effect that Nine Iron Capital and so many others talked about, where the price comes up and then we pour it into pairs and we can borrow from the pairs and we can pump the price and then the price goes up and we can, you know, we can kind of repeat the process over and over. I don't think people talk about it enough because the implications of it are enormous. Like it's the potential for this project. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Literally anything can happen. It isn't that wonderful. But the potential for this is the largest, not just crypto impact. Like if we take this to a potential eventuality, it's the largest financial news like available. You know, it is creating not just, oh, wow, like our chain's better than your chain. Oh, we flip Solana, whatever. Yeah, all that and a bag of chips, right? It is it has the potential to become an entirely parallel financial system that has functions very similar to our current financial system, which, let's get real, the US dollar holds an iron fist over. There's a lot of people that aren't going to want that. So the fact that RH and other devs are purposely distancing themselves, I think is probably a very smart move on their part. And then again, if Richard can be the creator of the chain where these magical things happen and he can in a later live stream go, yeah, who knows? Who knows how that happened? That's great for him, right? He'll always be the creator of PulseChain where that thing can happen without necessarily having a target on his back. That's just my thoughts.
Well, let's look at what RH's stated goal was: to change man's relationship with money. What is the current relationship? We live in a feudal system. You think those assets in your wallets are safe on Ethereum? Proven to not be true because they can be frozen, right? That's a feudal system. A allodial title means nobody can take your stuff from you. That is what has been created, right? So there's a lot of people in this ecosystem that folks trust and listen to, and those guys aren't worth a shit. Okay. Like I've been here since before Hex was the idea, before Bitcoin Hex. And I've seen like these OGs lie and manipulate and move price to their benefit. And the biggest problem right now is they're trying to move you in so that you can be their exit liquidity. And they might have missed this boat and they're pissed and they want to kill this thing so that you can come over so that they can extract value. Okay. And it's been a course of theirs. This is what they've done since the start. And as I've said before, the biggest bug in the system, I believe, is the Hex OGs. And I'll say that, I don't care. I'm not looking to make friends with these guys.
Thank you, Bud, for saying that. Thank you.
These guys are manipulators, they are liars, and they will do whatever they can to screw the little guy. All right. And it just is, it's infuriating. I've watched it. If you're following these guys and they have a stated intention of just pumping Hex, well, what's happened to them? Richard killed all of the inflation in Hex, took away their ability to run these very large short-term stakes where they've been dumping on your damn heads for 5 years. right? Now they're having to cut into their principal. Guys who retired who shouldn't have retired, right? So all they want is to move you into a place where it's player versus player. That's not what this ecosystem is intended to be. And I believe the hex OGs are the virus.
So, you know, I would like to just caveat that, because obviously it's not going to be all the hex OGs. I mean, amongst those, I'm a hex OG, for example. I'm a day one hexagon. There will be a certain percentage of them who have...
Well, so am I.
Yeah. So it would be like a small percentage of them who is basically like poisoning the whole system. And it's becoming abundantly clear to me. It's getting clearer to me. And, you know, circling back on what you were talking about before, the magnitude of this is why I'm putting my foot in the sand. The magnitude of what this actually represents for the world of finance, not just for the world of finance, though, because finance controls everything in the world. So it's what it means for the world. So yeah, I sorry to interrupt you there, but I just wanted to clarify that about the hex OGs and make my statement.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, there's nothing in this world with 100% absolutes, right? There's good guys, right? But I'm just talking, stereotypes exist for a reason, right? You can have something be basically true with a few exceptions. And I've watched this. I watched it with the sacrifice. I watched them manipulate the price of hex in the sacrifice phase. A group of them colluded together and then smashed the price down and sold it just so they could get a better entry point during the sacrifice. That was just to their benefit, and it's the greed of these people, right? So when Richard removed the yield from hex, basically by staking everything out, these people, the only thing that they have left in their asset bag is price go up. They are dependent upon it, on the cores to go up so that they can continue to be retired, basically, right? They're not a part of building the future of finance. They're about continuing their lifestyle.
That's a good
like
point.
I said,
That's a really good point. Like, I mean, I don't share exactly the same views as you with hex folks. I got in a little too late for hex, to be honest. I identify much more as a pulsekin than a hexakin for sure, even though I own hex. But yeah, I just think that hex is a very different product. You know, it's and I think Pulse is from Pulse, and I think that's fine. You know, Richard Hart's projects and his visions, like, you know, like artist projects and vision, they shift and they change over time. But I heard a Hex Maxi the other day saying, oh, well, you know, pDAI to 0. Let's get back to this. PulseChain exists for hex. And I was like, PulseChain exists for hex? I was like, it's an awful lot of bother. There's an awful lot of excess if the whole point was to create cheaper gas for hex stakes. Like, it just, like, why fork everything? Like, why did we just start with a simple, you know, like a simple protocol on a layer 2 to reduce gas? Like, I was like, wait a minute. What? I was like, if that's the case, why is there Pulse X at all? Right? Like clearly Pulse is for the chain. Pulse is for doing things, doing something. And in true Richard Hart fashion, doing things better than someone has done them before. Hex is a better Bitcoin. I still think that's true, right? But Pulse is a better Ethereum, right? And pDAI is a better DAI. We can see that. DAI left, right? Look at DAI, rebranded Sky, and can freeze and roll back. We are the true DAI. Like, there's no, you know, so it's an odd, I think it is there. We run into, I'm sure there are manipulators. I'm sure there are folks, but you make a really good point that I hadn't thought about before. If they're not getting yield, because it doesn't affect me, right? That's why I hadn't thought of it. But yeah, if they're not getting yield, they've got to manipulate price, right? They're probably feeling somewhat desperate. But I'm sure there's also people that are good-hearted hexagons, right? That came into a core project and just can't wrap their head around the ethos of this Pulse chain thing. And I think that's fine. That's what Ethereum's there for, right? Pulse has reduced gas fees. We see that, right? So you can easily trade eHex on Ethereum and not use Pulse at all. Like, that's you can do that. That's fine. It's still there. It exists. but it's it is a different ethos. It's a different, and I don't think the two will ever truly see eye to eye because PulseChains are building something new. They're building something different. That's my thoughts.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
agree with
and
all that.
I agree with all of what you just said. And to put it into what I feel is how this kind of evolved was it was originally just for Hex, but Richard's, the way that he does things, the way that he moves with the world, he starts with an idea, but as he's developing that idea, it turns into what it was always meant to be. So Hex Bitcoin, the original Hex Bitcoin, was not what it ended up being. And so PulseChain, it wouldn't have started with the idea of like the world's largest free airdrop. That idea would have come through the process of developing this blockchain, and it would have just come to him one day and he's like, what a great idea. And so even pDAI, like if the I align myself very much with Maria. Obviously, this is a very Atropa centric channel, and for me, if the P copies fail, like PulseChain is a failed experiment as far as I'm concerned. It's just I don't want that to be bearish. I apologize, but it just makes it another blockchain like everything else. It needs to succeed in the mission that it's currently undergoing. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I don't know if that's too negative or too bearish. How do you guys feel about that statement?
I feel that in alignment with that, in that I have thought for some time in listening to 9 Iron Capital and pDAI Maxis, I have thought, I kind of smiled, and there's all the speculation, all the wild tinfoil hat stuff, and I was eating it up. I loved it, but I wondered often, I was like, I wonder if Richard Hart is 9,000 IQ and is 45 million chess, and did he think through all this? I don't know. I don't know if he did or if he didn't, but the point that I stick with is he's not dumb. He has Twitter. It's his chain, right? Like if he sees some of the things that are plausible, if he sees some of the opportunities that these speculators are laying out, like this could happen and this could happen, and he doesn't take the chance, if he doesn't implement that, it's going to be one of the biggest missed opportunities of all time. Like I could imagine a Richard Hart distracted with his court case, right, wading through the bear market, and maybe not as active as he was, waiting for things to heat back up, waiting for devs to finish PulseChain. I can imagine that. But then once things are kind of where they are now, if he doesn't seize this opportunity, I kind of feel like it's a ridiculously missed. In other words, like he can farm ideas from these folks, and if he's not, I think it's a major error. I think, and in that way, I kind of come back to it has to happen, or some version of it has to happen.
Agreed.
For me, I would say, I would encourage everybody to do your own research and look at the liquidity webbing of the Atropa system. Show me the largest pair on V1. That is Atropa Pt I. That's the largest pair. Look at all the volume across the chain, right? It all goes through Atropa, right? And I think 9 Iron's right. If pDAI fails, the whole chain fails. Because when you look at that pDAI Atropa pair, look at the owner on V1, the largest owner, 95.5% of the liquidity is owned by the burned address.
Bingo. And this, even that, Bud, that's the kind of misinformation that's being deliberately spread through these spaces that Maria could just rug it all at any minute. It is literally burnt liquidity. He cannot touch it. It's impossible for him to touch. He has no access to it. This is the kind of disinformation and chaos that they're spreading everywhere. So, BB Crypto. Sorry.
I'm actually going to step down and give BB some space. I really appreciate you guys. Give somebody else another chance to talk. But
thank you very much, Steve.
My final parting thoughts are pDAI is so closely bonded with everything on chain. pDAI's success is PulseChain's success. Can PulseChain exist afterwards? Maybe, right? Can, in another iteration and another cycle? Maybe. But PulseChain's success pDAI's success is PulseChain's success directly. Get on board. I'll step down now. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Steven, for the platform. I appreciate everybody.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, man.
Just got a message here from Sunny as well that Maria can rug it, but he can't rug the pDAI and Atropa. He could rug the whole of PulseChain if he wanted to with all of his other tokens, it would just drain the liquidity out of the whole system, but he can't rug the pDAI and Atropa. So BB Crypto, what's going on, man?
Hey, man. Yeah, Steven, I just wanted to say, appreciate your stuff. I think you're a very balanced dude. And I think you've been out here doing good work for a long time. So appreciate you being level-headed and stuff. I just wanted to come on. So I'm half of the host of the Creative Crypto channel. So everything I say here does not represent the channel's stance, I guess I would say, because me and my co-host pretty much vehemently disagree on all this stuff right now. But I want to ask you guys, and forgive me if you've already spoken on this, and you probably have, but like, and I'm not like, obviously, like many of us, any kind of on-chain expert, nothing at all. I mean, I know not a lot about looking into some of the more advanced stuff, but in terms of like, why do you guys think that people are taking RH's posts at just, and when I say people, I mean almost everybody, at such face value? I just do not. The pattern of behavior and things that he has said in the past, the shilling literally of the pDAI chart, this just all doesn't add up to me, and at the very least, like I'm never somebody, I've never gone all in on pDAI. I've never gone all in on the Atropa ecosystem. It was always like a very small portion, of like a risky part of my portfolio and stuff. But I mean, all these ideas that we've been talking about that really culminated last November, I think Stephen, you and Decentralized, me and 9 Iron Capital, I remember over Thanksgiving, that was like the height of this pDAI stuff. Like that's when everything was really going down. I guess just like why, I know I'm rambling, but why at this point do you feel the masses are just out on this? Or taking what RH is saying at such face value? It just seems way too curious to me.
Well, first of all, great to have you here, BB Crypto. I love your channel, so great to have you here. It's an honor to have you up here, man. So I would like, Bud, if you would like to answer that question first, and then I'll answer after you.
I would go back to Charlie Munger's quote of "Show me the incentive, and I'll show you the outcome." And it's all about the interpretation of the quote. Who's interpreting it? I mean, I've never known Richard as a mealy-mouthed anything. If Richard has an opinion, I've heard the calls where he has gone nuts and cussed people out, right? But now we're leaving question marks in comments. So he's saying things, but he's not saying things, right? And like I said, Richard's not mealy-mouthed about it. If Richard believed, this is again just my interpretation, if Richard believed pDAI wasn't being inflated and it's all going to die, he would come out and do something, and he has the power to do something. Like at the beginning of PulseChain, why did Richard print 12 billion extra pDAI? It was for this moment, right? There was no reason to add to it, and it was a lot of work to do it. All the work on the MakerDAO has been a lot of work, and it's taken a long time to get things set. Is this the culminating event? I mean, this is my perspective. I could be completely wrong. Like I said, I'm here till I die or the chain dies. Could be either one. But if pDAI dies, I believe that the chain dies. So when you see people take these quotes and they're trying to run with it, what is their incentive? Are they trying to get that value back into core products so that they can continue to extract liquidity and continue their lifestyle? I'd question everything people say and look at their incentives. I'm across everything. I'm across the whole chain, right? I have really my smallest position is the Atropa system. So it's not that I'm out here as some Atropa maxi or pDAI maxi. I'm heavy in the cores. So if this dies, it's just a part of it, but I'm looking for a better future of finance. I want to be a part of a world where people own their assets. And that was the purpose of blockchain. That was the purpose of cryptocurrency, right? Was to change that relationship with money. That is Richard's stated goal. I mean, he has been saying that. He saw it in the highest of stakes. You go back and listen to all of his videos. He wants to give people basically a low deal title of their assets. So is there a group of people in discussions that have a large following that want to massage language to serve their purpose for greed? I mean, they're human, right?
But I think you brought up a good point there. I mean, you can tell by the reaction of many, and I'm not, I don't know what to call them, maxis, hexogs, whatever. I don't really care what you call them, but like people are jumping on every single amount of possible FUD or indication that, pDAI is a rug and the system's being rugged and they're extracting liquidity. I mean, they're just jumping on it with all caps posts, calling everybody names and stuff like that. I mean, they're so ready to do this, to pounce on everybody. And I think it's an indication, Sami talked about this on one of his videos yesterday, like it's a cult within a cult. And, Richard is so good. Like, look what he did with Hex. It is precedent setting, like this kind of cult that he created, like the mindset. I mean, it's 99% down against Bitcoin. People are obsessed with the ecosystem still. The lore of pDAI is just insane, like what is happening right now. And I think it's another cult within a cult. And I don't see it dying. And I think that people are probably missing something here.
Yeah, and for myself, based on what you were asking, BB Crypto, he's made it pretty clear that it's not him on the Twitter. And he has made it clear. It says it on his Twitter, and people have even questioned that. So everything that he's done since PulseChain has launched with his social media has always cast a shadow of doubt on what his true perspective is. So I just think we go back to those original points we were talking about the safety of the individuals behind it. That's why I hated talking about it. Like, everyone wants to connect it to Maria and Richard Hart and connect it to an individual. And I'm like, I wish we could stop talking about that and then just focus on the fact that we have a MakerDAO, focus on the fact that we have a price chart that's going like this. Like, this is literally like a life or death thing. Like the old DAI guy, we said it before, he got assassinated. So I just think it's just, those are the things that I look at. And, the SEC case is still going on. Why are they going after us again? Why are they letting everybody go, but they're coming back to us like hound dogs?
Right.
There's a lot. So that's kind of my take on it. Just obfuscating, making it deliberately not clear.
I'm with you. I think the post with all the question marks was extremely telling yesterday. And Bud, you mentioned that. Like, what do you guys think? Because the counter argument to that would be, well, like he's just covering himself. He doesn't want to tell people whether to buy or sell anything because then he's manipulating markets. I mean, what do you take of that interpretation?
I think it's lip service. I think he's distancing himself. I think if you look at the MakerDAO and you see that joy number coming down, I think it's not long until we have those flop auctions. And I believe that everything is functioning. And I don't know how long that takes. And I don't know if anybody mathematically can discern when we get there. I'm here, so it doesn't matter to me. It'll happen when it happens. But in public statements, if you want a truly decentralized anything, you have to kill your attachment, right? So if I'm Maria, I'm killing my attachment. If I'm Richard, I'm publicly saying, but he's saying, but he's not saying. Like I said, he's never been mealy-mouthed, right? Richard just comes out and says what Richard believes. When the Hex OGs were trying to promote by using a race car, he cussed them a blue streak. stop wasting the damn money. Quit taking money out of the chain and wasting it on this pointless advertising, right? He didn't hold back any. And if you've watched his content long enough, you know that if he has something that he truly believes, he will absolutely say it. So the question marks, I mean, I just view that from my perspective is that he's disassociating himself with the attachment.
I agree with you. And by actively, quote unquote, telling people to sell it, practically, it just leads to the decentralized nature of it eventually down the road anyway. So I just think these are wildly interesting times, and the fact that there are Twitter spaces popping up every day and there's so many people in them. I mean, whether you are a fan of the pDAI narrative, behind it, not behind it, whatever, I think it's great that we have all this action on this chain right now. And I think it just shows what a sleeping giant this is right now. So I'm going to hop off and get back to my Saturday and stuff. I really appreciate you guys. I'll go back and watch the whole stream. And yeah, thanks for all you guys do.
Thanks, BB Crypto.
See you guys.
Take care. Yeah, I mean, Bud, even in the chat now, like, it's pretty clear to me that there's some of the actors that I was mentioning earlier, like, who devotes this amount of energy in trying to bring something down. What are the incentives behind that? Like, these guys will spend 16 hours of their day talking bad against this thing. Do you have nothing better to do with your time? Is like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just so suspicious to me. What's your underlying incentive? Go to the beach. Go and get some sunshine. Like, you'd have nothing better to do but talk bad about this thing for 16 hours a day because you're protecting the chain. Like, it doesn't sit well with me. I've never, ever met any individuals that devote that much energy into bringing things down. How do you feel about that?
I think you're hitting it, man. Like, there's several projects on this chain that have been mildly successful that I didn't become a part of. And I can't capture every opportunity, right? Like, I got into some, most of them have worked. But I don't resent the fact that I missed it. And I'm not trying to manipulate the narrative to scare people out of something I missed to bring them back in so I can extract value, right? I can be happy for other people when they're winning. I don't have to be a part of that win. I'm winning enough. So if you're that vile of a human where you have to come out and spew hate, right? Because you missed something, or because your cognitive ability only allows you to do what Master says. Master says, I only buy hex. Come on, level up your thinking. Spend time looking at philosophy. Spend time empowering your brain, right? Decentralized means there's no God to follow, right? You're here, you're a part of it. So everybody that's out there saying that shit, as soon as I start seeing it, man, I just block it. I ain't got time for it. Like, I'll unfollow, mute. Most of the hexagons, original hexagons, they're not on my Twitter feed because they're garbage. They're garbage and they're garbage people, right? Like, all they do is say bullshit and I don't want to hear it.
I think, I'm not sure if you mentioned it in this, but you mentioned it when you mentioned it in the DMs. I think you might have mentioned it very early, like that hexagon bug. That is a bug. So we're saying that this is an inflation bug with pDAI, but the hexagon perpetual sellers, like, one thing that really irks me is this moral high ground that they take, that everybody should just buy hex, just buy hex, just buy hex. Hex is the greatest thing ever. Like, you're an idiot if you don't buy hex. Making everybody feel guilty for not buying hex. But then what's your intention for wanting me to buy that hex? You want to sell on me. That's essentially what it is. You want me for exit liquidity. So I just see right through that, and it's like the depth of that noise, and like, let's be real, the price chart sucks, bud. It sucks. Like, Richard, you know, if we're going to sit here and present facts, and I've presented all the facts that I see with pDAI, I've presented them all that I see, the positive, the negative, but on Hex, something that I never wanted to talk about, but I'm going to say it now, and I think I might have mentioned it in a tweet. The OA is pumping it, and it just got dumped. It's still down from the previous all-time high, and we're in the middle, potentially the end of a bull market. Like, that's not good. That is not good. That's not a good look at all, in my opinion.
I agree with that. And I think the biggest bug in the community is the OG hexagons. And I think Richard recognized it. And that's why he killed the inflation. That's why he staked all those bags. That's why he reduced the amount of hex that people could take, right? And when you realize that you have a group of individuals around you, like look what Elon did when he went into Twitter. He fired 80% of the staff because they were shit. They were bad. They were killing the business. So a lot of these guys, like if you understand the hex code, as Richard stakes, and he has like that, I think it was 350 billion hex or something, right? That's on rotating, and then he ladder staked it. Well, the price of a T-share in hex terms is going to start to climb, like a lot. And as the value of hex goes up, and these people are going to have to start selling off principal, and this is probably like a 5-year plan on hex. All these people with these short rolling stakes that, you know, they don't go out 15 years. They're just here for mass extraction. Eventually, they're going to have to sell off everything they have, and then the hex code can work, right? But you're not going to clean it up overnight. Like hex is an immutable lock smart contract. So the only thing that the OA can do is work inside of it. So the inflation will stay low for a very long period of time. There will be a continuation in the price of a T-share in hex terms, to where if you're playing on the short end trying to extract value, eventually you'll have to sell off enough of your principal to where you just go away.
Yeah, so I think I kind of want to round this up because it's extremely late for me, bud, even though I'm really, really enjoying this conversation. But I think I just want to kind of address again the point. I feel like you're the same. I feel like you've taken, correct me if I'm wrong, you've taken both the perspectives and you've chosen a side. It's not like you're being ignorant to the other perspective. Like you can see that, yeah, if this keeps inflating down or whatever, like, yeah, of course, all the liquidity is going to get drained, but it's not actually what's happening. It doesn't look like that's what's happening. And there's no hard evidence to suggest that that's what's actually happening. But the choice that you've made is now a philosophical choice, that you really want to stand for this new financial system. That's the thing that you want to stand for, rather than, honestly, pDAI go to $1, bags pump, great. But for me, this is like a new world. That's what's important to me. How would you like to close and finish on that?
Well, this is a whole financial system, and it all operates on PulseChain. And Richard's stated goal with Hex was for it to become a CD, right? That's what it is. But in order to have a sufficient, like to have this decentralized ecosystem, you need a stable coin that can't be frozen in your wallets, right? And that's what pDAI is. So I'm in on the whole thing, and it all has a part. Like, I mean, I'm out 15 years on my stuff, man. You know, I'm not like, I have a staking ladder, and I've continued to make that work over the 5-year period. And I've continued my T-share count. Like, I'm here, man. I'm in it. I'm in on everything that Richard put out except ink. I think ink's shit. I mean, it doesn't have utility to me, and I probably stand alone there. But all the other stuff I'm in on. And if you look at Pulse, the PulseChain ecosystem, excuse me, as a financial system, Hex can be great. but you also need a currency, right? Like, I guess in closing, what I would say is, you know, this is the highest of stakes. Okay. This really is. This is what's being built. Richard's trying to change man's relationship with money. And we're in the process of it. Is it going to be volatile and violent? Yeah. Yeah. But take a 30,000 foot view, man, of what's being built. It's all right in front of you, and you're just not recognizing it. You know, we have PulseX. We have a way to swap. We have, you know, there's like the HSIs that Alex came out with in the icosahedron deal. You're going to be able to collateralize hex stakes in the future. Just because it doesn't exist today doesn't mean that it's not coming, right? Technology is exponential, and most of us can't think in these terms. You think of where you are and what's been, and that's the wrong mindset. You need to think about where we are and what's coming, like, and the innovation that is going to be in front of us. With an HSI, you're going to have we already have a bond market here, man. That what the hell is the name of it? Actuator system, where you can take hex and stake it, and buy these like 3,000s or 6,000s. What I'm not participating in it, obviously, but I've seen it and I can appreciate it as it's being built. So we have a bond market, we have CDs, we have a stable, we have an underlying blockchain that's sufficiently decentralized, right? We have a liquidity web, and most people don't even understand what Atropa is. Like, all of this stuff is working together. It's not Atropa versus Hex. It's all one thing.
Yep. All one interconnected, beautiful creation, this PulseChain system. And it's one last question, like, you know, how do you, I mean, because obviously I, as someone who has to, yeah, I want to, you know, there's an inevitability that people rely on me for information. So I have to measure it and then take my stand. What gives you the confidence in your position? What gives you the confidence? So you said take the 30,000 feet view. What else gives you that confidence to say, I can see the bigger picture here and I'm just blocking out all the noise?
Well, I do my own research. I go into PulseX. I look at trading pairs. I look at liquidity webbing. And it's so hard to follow what's going on with the MakerDAO and the work that 9iron's doing. And I'm really, really trying to understand that. And also being able to accept the fact that some things are just currently a little past my knowledge, but I'm learning, right? And I'm continuing to learn. And when I'm looking at anything anybody says, I'm asking myself, what is their incentive, right? So that's why I enjoy your channel, Stephen. I believe that you're coming from a place of honesty. You're really trying to deliver the truth the best that you can. And it's okay to be wrong if your intentions are right. Like, none of us know. None of us, I can't tell you with any certainty that even PulseChain's going to survive, right? I believe in it. And so I'm going to promote it. And if it all falls apart, hey, I stood there and I fought the fight for what I believed in. And if I'm wrong and it all fails, well, that's okay. I still got a great life, right? Like, I'm still successful in other venues. So if somebody is telling me something, and as I've said, and I hope I make this abundantly clear about how little shits I give for the Hex OJs. I think they're trash. When I hear them trying to screw the little guy. Like, it just infuriates me. And so instead of allowing myself to get angry, you're no longer in my ecosystem. Like, I'm not paying attention. I hate the fact that people are getting hurt. I hope they can find wise places to go and gather information. And that's it, man. I'm okay to be wrong. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not an oracle, but I'm doing the best I can. And that's got to be good enough.
I love it. I love it. That's really beautifully put, and I appreciate those kind words. Actually, I mean, because it's been it's been chaos. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's definitely been chaos. So, and you know, again, I just want to round back again on this. I mean, these are the types of where was it, Stephen? These are the types of things to look out for. People saying that Somi dumped pDAI, like these are the deliberate things that people are saying to try and fear people into selling their pDAI, and it's not true. I've seen the blockchain transactions of him buying like millions of pDAI. It's absolutely not true. So yeah, please everybody, just take care of yourselves and take care of each other. And it's so sad, but it's like, you know, these guys who are these hex OGs, like they would have come from a very simple life, I imagine. Then they're not coming from, you know, a Lamborghini lifestyle. Maybe they are. Maybe there are some, but I'm expecting most of them are probably used to live a very humble life, a simple life, and then they made it big with Hex. You would think that they would have the compassion and the empathy to also lift everybody else up instead of using everybody to feed their lifestyle. That's what I would think, but maybe I'm just naive. So it's kind of sad.
I would just say to that, Stephen, a lot of those guys, people say, well, this guy said this and this is important. That's not a smart guy. He was just lucky. You know, I mean, the sun shines on a dog's ass from time to time, right? They weren't brilliant in the fact that they found Hex. They just had the courage to move in. I'm not saying all of them, right? But just because they're lucky doesn't mean they're smart. Like they were just opportunistic. They got there. And they had a run up and they've extracted value. Okay, great. Why can't you be happy for other people? Like, this isn't the end of anything, man. We're the minority of the citizens of the world in this space. And if you're out there spewing toxic shit and showing people how ugly this place is, what are they going to come to? They're not going to participate. Like, just because you didn't win with this one because you missed it, it's okay. Just be happy, right? Be happy for other people to succeed. And there will be more opportunity. And if you miss something, do a better job, right? And if you're talking about Somi selling, how is Somi's personal finance any of your business? That shouldn't matter. That guy works hard. He's out there saying, he's giving you the truth as he sees it. And I'm here for it, man. Like, all of us can be wrong. I can be wrong. But what was the intention? Everybody's just doing the best they can. And if you want this chain to grow and you're out there spewing shit, like, well, here's another one, is Jesse from Liquid Loans, right? Talking about how it's all trash. Okay, what's his incentive? Well, he has an algorithmic stablecoin. And he does not like the fact that there's value being pushed over here because he wants to capture that value inside that protocol.
Correct.
So fuck that guy, right? Like,
it seems to me, Bud, that the people that are holding true to pDAI and the Atropa ecosystem have a a bigger consciousness that we want to see something shift in the world to the benefit of the world, and the people that are screaming that it's a scam and come and buy this thing instead don't have that perspective. They're like, they want you to just buy their tokens, and they're not interested in what cryptocurrency actually represents for the world. They're only interested in how can I benefit my life. That's the general trend that I see. I could be completely wrong, I could be biased, but that's the general trend that I see. The consciousness of the people that I'm continuously communicating with when in relation to Atropa and pDAI, it's like they're all just big-minded people, broad-minded people. I mean, you're obviously a classic example. Like the way that you talk, you're really in this for the change. You're not just in this to. I think you're possibly already retired, but you're not. It's not about that for you. It's about what this means for the world and for everyone in a fairer world. So the energy has to be there. We have to believe in that. I'm just choosing to believe in that. I'm choosing to pour everything into that. Otherwise, I really have no interest in cryptocurrency anymore. I mean, if this goes down,
right,
I couldn't care about.
I see you. The only thing I'd say, Stephen, is I would encourage you to remove some of that negativity from your life. Keep speaking your truth. Keep promoting your stuff, and don't let these guys get you off tilt. Right? It's really been a stressful situation. None of us know for sure, right? We're all doing the best we can. We're putting our trust and our belief in people that we believe are speaking truth to us. And when you allow, what did I say before? If I have this great big bowl of sangria punch, right? And it's 95% sangria punch, and I put just 5% of horse shit in it, right? It's not real consumable. So take these negative people, man, just start unfollowing, just start muting them, get them out. They're not helping you. They're causing chaos, right? And they're interrupting your flow and your state of being. I've chosen, just like you, I've chosen my stance. I'm here for it, and I'm supporting it. So could I be wrong? That's an option, right? I don't think I am, but either way, I'm here for it, baby. Like, let's go. How much more excitement can you have anyway? This is great.
I know. That's what makes it so awesome, because it's like it's the pinnacle of a new world. That's so much more exciting to me than a Lambo. So, yeah, I really have to. People keep encouraging me to mute and block. It's like a philosophical standpoint of like trying to accept everyone as they are, but it does, like, it's just inevitable that if I'm consuming that information into my brain, it's just like scrambling my whole consciousness. So I really need to decide very, very soon if I take that road, because so many people are saying it to me now. So many people are saying it. I think I really just need to start muting out the negativity and just focusing on the positive. It might be.
Well, we want to be the light, Stephen. We want to be the light. We want to be, how many flies do you catch with honey versus vinegar, right? And if we want people to come here, you just got to set aside the shitbirds and just talk about what you know. Talk about the positive. Talk about this ecosystem and the beauty of it. And when we spend our time giving these people clout that are trash, we're discouraging others from coming and being a part of what is being built, right? So I can't personally and emotionally, I can't handle all of that negativity. And all I try to do in this life is be the best version of me. And if you're interfering with that, I don't believe in permanence anyways. You can go on and do your life the way you want to do your life, but that just means that you're not involved with me. Okay? Go on and rock it, baby. I'm here doing me, and I'm going to be the purest version of me. And if I think that your vibe is wrong, if I think that you're you're a negative part of this world, I'm not in for it. It's not the life I want to live. And I'm just living this life behind these eyes. So I choose to dismiss it.
Beautiful. Well said, Bud. Thank you very much. Any closing statements before we close up the stream?
Just encouragement for you, brother. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. That's it, man. Don't follow me. I have nothing to sell. I'm not shilling shit. Whenever I see a moment where I think I have something valuable to say, I'll come on. Outside of that, I don't. I'm not here for friends. I'm here to make money, and I'm here to grow something beautiful in this world. So that's it, brother.
Thank you very much, Bud. I really appreciate your positivity, and thanks for coming on. And Steve, also, thanks for coming on. BB Crypto, thanks for coming on. You guys made this. It's a Saturday night for me, so it's a fun Saturday night. It's different to my Saturday night in my 20s, but this is still very, very enjoyable, getting to hang out with really awesome people all around the world. So everybody, thank you for joining the stream. There's almost 3,000 people watching, so this is incredible. So again, thank you, Bud. Take care.
Take it easy, man.